There are shows that leave a mark because of what they tell. And then there are shows like Adolescence that leave a mark because of how they tell it. From the outside, this 4-episode Netflix miniseries might seem like a crime drama. A 13-year-old boy arrested for murder. But the brilliance of Adolescence lies in what it chooses not to be. It's not about the case. It's not a whodunit. It's not trying to impress you with twists. Instead, it's about something much more profound. Perspective. This is where Adolescence reminded me of films like The Revenant, a film with an extremely simple story, man avenges son, but unforgettable storytelling. It was never about what happens. It's about how we experience it. The weight of grief, the violence of nature, the isolation, all told visually, all deeply felt. Adolescence does the same. Each episode gives us a new character's point of view. 4 perspectives, 4 timelines, 1 incident. And just like that, a story about teenage violence transforms into a layered exploration of misunderstanding, miscommunication, and missed warning signs. Even more stunning is the fact that each episode is told in one continuous take. But this isn't a gimmick. It's the key to why the storytelling works. It traps us in time. There are no cuts, no skips, no breathers. You're locked in, moment to moment, with these characters, feeling their confusion, their fear, their guilt. And this isn't just a clever camera trick where everything happens in one room. These long takes move across space, homes, offices, schools, streets, while still flowing like one breathless shot. It reminded me of Victoria, the German film also shot in one take, but Adolescence adds another level by shifting the storytelling each time. The first episode lays the groundwork, but it does more than introduce characters. It plants the idea that everything you see is being seen by someone, and that's what makes the perspective approach so clever. It forces you to question, who is watching, and what are they missing? Episode 1 is like hovering above the story. It's what I call the iBird perspective. You follow the detectives, Luke Bascom and Misha Frank, as they arrive at the Miller household to arrest Jamie, the 13-year-old accused of murder. The camera never cuts. You walk through the house, you feel the stillness, you feel the awkwardness, you feel the rupture. The parents, Eddie and Manda Miller, are stunned. It's morning. It's ordinary. And suddenly, their world ends. And the beauty here isn't in what's said, but in what isn't. At the station, the one-shot continues. We see the admin, the process, the waiting. It doesn't cut to drama. It lingers. And it's in that lingering that we get the emotional payoff. We feel the actual weight of what it means to process a child into the criminal system. By the end of the episode, you realize what the show is really doing. It's giving you a neutral, observational lens first, so that when you enter the minds of the other characters in later episodes, you already have context and assumptions. Assumptions that will be challenged again and again.
Did you do it?
No.
Promise.
Promise.
Okay.
None.
What have you done? What have you done?
Episode 2 shifts the narrative perspective to one of the detectives, Luke Bascom. On the surface, he's just doing his job, but beneath that uniform lies a man trying to balance 2 roles, law enforcer and father. What makes this episode resonate isn't just Luke's investigation, but his connection to the case through his own son, Adam. Adam goes to the same school as Jamie and the victim, and through this connection, the episode introduces one of the series' most powerful subtexts, the generational divide.
You don't call me son. You call other people son. You never call me son.
Luke assumes Jamie and the victim were friends, but Adam's quiet revelations challenge that belief. We learn the truth. Jamie was being relentlessly bullied online, pushed to the margins not just physically, but digitally. And Adam, like many kids, saw it all unfold.
I could show you 15 others. Messages sent to Jamie, all different emojis, they're saying the same thing.
This hits hard because it represents something deeply universal: how often parents misinterpret or fail to see what's really going on in their children's lives. The episode doesn't make a big scene out of this, it just lets the distance sit there, quietly growing. And then, something small but monumental happens. Adam and Luke sit together to share a meal. For a show this emotionally restrained, that single offer of food feels seismic.
So what do you want to go for? Chips?
The Chinese place on Chapel Hill.
It's not reconciliation, not yet, but it's a spark of connection. A reminder that communication is possible, even when it feels impossible. What I also loved is how Adam, despite being shy and maybe even a bit socially awkward, is actually funny and clever once we get to know him.
Well, go on then.
Je m'appelle. Comment ça? Ça va bien? S'il vous plaît.
All right, stop. That's enough. That is enough. You're destroying the language.
He's just misread, mislabeled, like Jamie. That parallel makes this episode incredibly effective. Episode 3 might be the most emotionally intense of all, not because it's loud, but because it's uncomfortably quiet. We're locked inside a room with Jamie and Bryony Ariston, the psychologist. The single-shot style becomes even more suffocating here. There are no distractions, no exits, just Jamie, Bryony, and everything that hasn't been said. Jamie doesn't come across like a killer. He isn't made into a monster. He's not even fully confident in his own truth. And that's what makes his portrayal feel so real. This is a kid who's broken, scared, confused, and holding on to whatever scraps of dignity he still has. He tries to be liked, he tries to act innocent, but he's leaking. Little by little, his real thoughts begin to seep out. The subtle misogyny, the discomfort with being told what to do, especially by a woman. And then there's the sandwich. Bryony offers him one, a simple gesture, but symbolically, it feels like bait, and Jamie takes it. He opens up just a bit more, admits he had a knife, admits he was there, but it's not some big confession moment. It's messy. It's full of pauses and redirects. It's a teenager unraveling, not because he's caught, but because he can't keep up the act any longer. This episode doesn't give us closure. It doesn't offer answers. What it offers is understanding. Jamie isn't just a product of cyberbullying, he's a product of everything around him: parenting, peers, school, silence. The final episode shifts perspective to the parents, Eddie and Manda Miller, and it does something incredibly poignant. It tries to show what happens after the dust settles. It's Eddie's birthday. Everything is set up to resemble a normal day, but nothing is normal. Not anymore. Not when your son is facing murder charges. Not when your community sees your family as a danger. The illusion of normalcy is broken when Eddie finds a word, nonce, spray painted on his work van. Not directed at him, but at Jamie. It's a brutal reminder that forgiveness doesn't come easily, that some stains can't be washed off. And here's the genius of this episode. It doesn't focus on courtroom drama or guilt declarations. Instead, it focuses on doubt. On those quiet moments between two parents trying to make sense of what they missed, what they got wrong, and whether they were ever enough. Their conversations unravel everything. How Eddie's personality may have shaped Jamie in ways he didn't intend. How Manda is questioning her instincts. Their parenting wasn't abusive or neglectful, but it wasn't perfect either. And that's the point. No one is. But sometimes imperfections add up to irreversible consequences. The final minutes don't deliver redemption. They deliver reflection. And that's far more impactful. Adolescence doesn't tell you what to think. It shows you what to feel. It doesn't give you answers. It gives you questions, hard ones, personal ones. And it doesn't give you closure. It gives you a mirror. At its core, adolescence isn't about blame. It's about perspective. How the same event can be seen through 4 different lenses and still feel painfully real from each one. It reminds us that growing up, parenting, and just existing in today's world comes with complexities we often fail to see until it's too late.